the Moshe Ibn Ezra who wrote the poetry, the famous poet in Spain?
I don't know. I don't know. That was always my assumption, but I might be mistaken about
Maybe
that.
I'll check it in.
Right. So first of all, what's the date today? It's January 5th or January 6th?
I think it's 6.
January 7th, 2014. Right, I have it. January 7th, 2014. So we were discussing the pasuk in Mishle Perek Tet, pasuk Aleph, which says Chochmot baneta betaha haseva amudeha shiv'a. So what Rabbi Moshe ben Ezra explains, and I agree with it and I elaborated, is that the subject matter of the Pesukim beforehand and afterwards is the Chokhmah, right? And I want to hear in a moment your explanation about Va'ehiyeh Islo Amon, Va'ehiyeh Sha'ashu'im. But what we saw is that Chokhmot Baneta Beta means that the Chokhmah Baneta Beta are many Chokhmot, meaning the Chokhmah is an integral system which integrates many different things. It can integrate physics, it can integrate understanding of Hashem and integrate many, many things, but it's not one thing. So it's Chokhmot Banita Beta, and that's why we have the concept of Be'er Shara. So you have the 7 wisdoms. So the true Chokhmah is a wisdom that's an integral wisdom, and then it integrates many things, because you spoke about, I think, in your horizontal society, about the barbarism of specialization.
Yes.
Right? So the pasuk that I studied 2 nights ago, I believe, discusses the barbarism of specialization. And I'll get to that pasuk in a minute. But this pasuk, Chokhmot Baneta Beta, means, no, the true Chokhmah is not a person who knows only, one specific aspect of one detail of one scientific theory. But you have to have a complete knowledge.
But I think here there's 3 things in the Chokhmot Baneta Beta. Number 1, Chokhmot plural are Baneta singular. That's, I think, very important.
Right, so the only way to explain it is like the Moshe ben Ezra.
Yes.
Otherwise you'll have Chokhmot Banu Beta,
Yeah.
Banu Beta.
So the
Right.
integrity of that's number 1.
Right.
So Chokhmot Baneta, yes. Now, but this is something more important to this. Beta. The context of Chokhmah is Chokhmah itself. That's the point. The bite of Chokhmah, which is singular, is built by the Chokhmah is a self-generating thing. That's the uniqueness of Chokhmah.
Right.
Now, vegetation is not doesn't create. I mean, it's something created vegetation. There are forces outside vegetation creating. I mean, the weather, this, that. But Chokhmot is a self-generating process. And that was Atahulil Ramdat, yeah, Chokhmah, yes, it's Chokhmah.
Right.
And so that is so number 1 is singular, but it's plural. So number 2, which is amazing, is that it's self-creating. Nobody created, I mean, Abu Alam made this, whatever it is, we'll see it in a second. But it's self-generating. I mean, I don't know what is generated by physics and this and that and all those things is generated by the Chokhmah. Yes. So later on, Haseba Amudeh Shib'an.
Right.
Is a further level in which you have the separation between chemistry and other things in biology, whatever
Right.
it is, or biology and anatomy.
Right, each one is a separate discipline and it needs to be learned separately.
Yeah.
But you need to integrate them together to have Chokhmah.
Yes.
And therefore the subject of the pasuk is not Chokhmot.
Yeah.
The subject of the pasuk is Chokhmah. Ha-Chokhmah Baneta Beta on the Chokhmot.
Yes.
And that's why Haseva Amudeha Shiva means Ha-Chokhmah Haseva on the Shiva Amudim, which is the Chokhmot.
But the thing is that what it created is a container, the beta.
Right.
It's
Right.
contained in the beta.
Right.
It also that there's after we created the beta is an integral part of the Chokhmah.
Right. And it doesn't need recourse to something outside of itself.
Exactly.
That's the important point. It has no
And
recourse.
now they tell you what is the origin, where it originated this.
Right. And then you had something you were about to say on the pasuk in previous perek het, pasuk lamed, va'ehiyeh eslo amon,
Yes.
va'ehiyeh sha'ashu'im. On the point of sha'ashu'im, you wanted to...
So now also the Amon. Amon is the Hachamim say, they speak about that, I speak about in my society in other places, I speak precisely about the word Amon, yes, and the Hachamim. So one thing is the relationship, what is the relationship between Chokhmah and God?
Right.
So number one is Amon, they say like a teacher and so on, and God gave the teacher, the transmitted. But what God transmitted to the Chokhmah, the Amon, is that vast of it. I think many Jews are aware of it. But a common person does not get this. So Amon means like a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not Oman.
Right.
Yes. Also has to do with the notion of Emet.
Right.
Because ultimately, Emet is a creation of God.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It could have been different.
Right.
And
it's like you once said that
exactly.
you said that even the very law of contradiction is a result of creation.
That's right.
So this that we distinguish between Or and Choshe is not necessity, it's creation.
That's right. That's right. And that one thing is also a question of trusting. That God trusts this, this Amon, this Emunah, and so on. And this. So the relationship between the Bara Olam, and we are in a nihilo time. Yes, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. And the first thing that creates is Amon, which God trusts and so on. And this is final. This is the final concept was logos, with the Dibur of God.
Right.
Yes, and of course, Professor Wolfson was wonderful. He studies the logos of Philo. Why is it so important what Wolfson says? Wolfson Zal said, because the word logos is a Greek word, all right? Mm-hmm. And of course, it appears the word logos in the New Testament.
Right.
But the word hamor, it's like you hamor, and the word hamor as a piece in the book of veterinary is different. It's different, although it's the same word.
Right.
So the word logos that's the point of Wolfson.
Wow.
The point the word logos in Philo has nothing to do with the logos of the Christians.
Right.
Or the logos of the pagan. I mean, he had to use the word logos because this is what's written in Greek. There's no other way to say this. And my teacher, Alejandro Desmacho, he wrote a whole book about the membra. It says in Talmud we have the word membra, which is a translation of the word logos. And of course, he was Christian, he was Roman Catholic, Israel, although Mizrah Meshumadim, wanted to connect it, nothing to do with that. The membra of the Targum has to do with the logos of Philo and has nothing to do with this. Why they use the word membra rather than Amon? Because membra is a Greek word, and you could say the relationship, the only thing that you could say in English or in this, that you say it and it's not part of you, is the word.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
You understand? I mean, this is the best parallel. So the Dwara L'Mayin Shamayim Na'asu.
Right.
Yes, they want to tell you that it's not, they didn't actually put his hand in something, yes me, yes.
Right.
And then they say yes me, ayin. And the only way to project this idea in human language is by saying logos or membra. More correctly would be say Amon, but this is probably in biblical times in which the language permitted to say these things. Later on, if you say Amon, people anyhow.
And you also explained Sha'ashu'im, what the relationship is between Hashem and the Chokhmah.
Yeah.
And you said it's not a physical,
It's not necessary. It's not a metaphysical necessity.
Right.
This is God. Then God is going to die. That's not going to Christian. We have Jesus. Jesus is not God. But without Jesus, God is it's not.
Or rather, Hashem enjoys the Sha'ashu'im. Right. Exactly.
And that concept of Sha'ashu'im, like we say in also, I think it's in Yelech Sha'ashu'im, in the Tanakh, is the relationship between the father and son. It's not when you play with Shlomo, it's not a question of necessity. It is,
right.
You enjoy. That is the best metaphor, the only metaphor that we humans will understand. It doesn't mean that God is exactly like you and me, like a father, but it's, yes, I mean, Malkeinu in his relationship with us is not because, you know, he needs this, otherwise he could have this.
And that's why when they say in Petichat Eliyahu, Sibat Sibot, it's highly problematic. Because when you say Sibat Sibot, you're creating an ontological relation between Hashem and the creation.
By the way,
and it's not,
there's a teshuvah of the grandson of Harambam, Rabbi Yeshua, the son of the one who went to Harab, I think is Rabbi Yeshua. I'm not too sure. About the difference between Sabah and Allah.
Right.
Did you know that?
No.
Do you have his teshuvot?
No.
Try to get it, not like as yet, my mind, but you have to remind me.
Okay.
Right? So, but basically, there's a difference between Sabah and Allah. What's the difference? Blah, 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 right?
Right, but certainly it can't be Siba, because if the Sha'ashu'im is anti-Siba.
Exactly.
If Sha'ashu'im, then it can no longer be Siba.
Yes.
Right? In the Aristotelian metaphysics, there is a necessary causal relationship between the creator and
correctly,
creations.
Aristotle says then the world is not created.
Right. Right. So that's for Aristotle, we can say that Hashem is Sibat HaSibot.
Yes.
Right.
Now, I was to say, Baruch Hashem is the question, the whole thing of Kabbalah is a put on.
Right, exactly.
Why, how you say Kabbalah in different words?
Gnosticism.
Gnosticism, you could say more philosophically, you could say why you should give money to achieve it.
Right, exactly. Okay, so that was now, I said that Chokhmot Banita Betah.
But that is important, that the Chokhmah builds things. So I'm sorry, Abraham. The purpose of Chokhmah is not to destroy, to criticize, to this, to that. That is also, I tell some of my Talmidim, all the new. I said, you know, instead of criticizing A, B, C, D,
right,
build your own system or whatever it is, or Talmidim or so Banita Betah, all right?
Right. Now, as opposed to Chokhmot Banita Betah, we were reading the pasuk Hachmot, not Chokhmot, in Perek Yod Dalet, pasuk Aleph, Hachmot Nashim Banita Betah Ve'ivelet Beyadeha Tehersenu. So this is Hachmot Nashim means Hachamot Sheban Nashim. Hachmot Nashim, and it's Samuch, so it's Hachmot instead of Hachamot. Just like you say, Bayit Shel HaSefer, Bet Sefer, HaChachamot Sheba Nashim, Chachmot Nashim, Banita Betah.
Yes.
Right. So what you said, that there's a certain type of knowledge that's transmitted to the children through the behavior of the children. And that's why the behavior of the mother to the children, meaning the children's behavior reflects the values of the mother.
Absolutely. But may I say that that's exactly what it says in Shalom Amelech. Shema Beni Musar Abicha.
Right.
It means you're talking to a child that already has a linguistic apparatus.
Right.
And now that you have a linguistic apparatus, Al Titoshat Emecha.
Right.
So of course my question is, how can you say Torah Emecha?
Right.
The Torah is not of the women.
Right.
So Torah Emecha is what the child learns in the embryo.
Right.
And this is what the Hakamim said in a very nice way about the Malach that teaches the Torah.
Right.
Because through the behavior of the mother, this kind of things are shape, mold the mind of the child.
Right.
And therefore when the child is born and come out and so on, in the whole pre-linguistic period of the child, the wife is building the Banita Betah.
Right. You're right. Yes.
Yes, Banita Betah.
Yes.
I want to say something else in this sense, and that's why if the mother is Goya, the child is a Goy.
Right.
There's no way to circumvent this.
Interesting. Because she's the one who's Banita Betah.
She's the one Banita. She's the one of Torah Mecha, which is the first Torah.
Right. And if we were to
the other Torah that you get from school, from father, is a linguistic. It comes a stage later.
Right. And if you were to make a gezerah shava, so to speak, between Chachmot Nashim Banita Betah and Chochmot Banita Betah, what it's saying is that there is a certain intellectual context that the mother, the Eshet Chayil, gives to her children. And that's ties in with what you said.
The first a priori thing, whereas I understand language, yes.
Right.
I understand language because it's another apparatus that permits you to understand language.
Right.
I understand Torah, it makes sense
Right.
to me. Yeah, it makes it true because you have an original apparatus. And this is the same Banita Beta, that is a container,
Right.
because it contains the Bet Sefer, Bet Knesset,
Right.
Bet Hamikdash. You need a container in which this Mikdash, Sefer, and so on is in it.
Right, but what I was
Yeah.
about to say is that this ties in with the fact that the mother,
Yes.
Jewish mother,
Yes.
will have Jewish children, and a Goyam mother will have
Yeah.
Goyim
And
children.
it's not because the Goyas Hashem is good or bad.
Right.
It's because of the
No, but the point I'm making is
Yeah.
the same way that Chokhmot Banita Beta
Yes.
means that the Chokhmah creates its own context. Also here, Chachmot Nashim Banita
Of
Beta,
course, absolutely,
she
that's
creates
it.
and the intellectual framework through which a
Absolutely.
child develops is within that intellectual framework. And that's why the Ben of Ben Aramit is Aramit, and vice versa.
Yeah. Now, what is the whole? I don't know the song. Chokhmah Bagoyim, Amen.
Right.
That's Gaman, the Nagama is Midash Echa. All right, fine, very good. So, what does it mean, Chokhmah? I explained that the word Arum, the Talmud explains us the same Arum, because in Aramid, there's no distinction between wisdom, knowledge, and shrewdness. For the God, it's the same thing.
Right.
Being shrewd and being wise is the same thing. You
Right.
don't do it. So, Be'anahash Aya Arum is Hakim.
Right.
And there was also Chokhmah, the Talmud uses as a translation of the word Arum, as Chokhmah as a translation of the word Arum in Hebrew. Now, so therefore, Chokhmah Bagoyim, in the sense of shrewdness,
Right.
one of the horrible things that had been done to the Jews is by pseudo-Jewish teachers that say that Goyim are stupid. The Goyim are not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
We are stupid because we believe that they are stupid.
Right.
They are shrewd, very, very, very shrewd.
Right.
Yes? And that's why in the Goyim, the whole idea of Zenut is important. Why? Because Zenut is the antithesis of Banita Beta.
Right. Right.
You know? It's Banita Beta. You know? The whole point of, one of the points of Mishle is the idea of Seniaut. Because without Seniaut, you don't have Banita Beta.
Right.
Yeah? And therefore when it says freedom, it's not freedom, it's destruction of the family.
Right.
Let me say, I have to say it. Because without Seniaut, we're not against A, B, C, D. No, we are pro Seniaut because Seniaut is the condition sine qua non for a family, for a Jewish family, for a bayit.
Right.
Issue beton. That's the
Right.
point. You
Right.
know, that is the point. So what you have, Seleha, what you have fighting an issue beton, bet pa'o. So then, you see, America is all, what does it mean, promiscuity? Bet pa'o.
Right.
So you die in bet pa'o, fine. The bet pa'o is, you take care of you, fine, very good.
Right. The Bet Habarim of Paro
Yeah.
is against the Et Yaakov issue Beto.
Yeah. Yes.
So you have on the one hand, but now I want to end with one thing because we have to get back
Yeah.
to what we were doing. But this was the pasuk I wanted to read originally, and it's an interesting pasuk. It says, "Chokhmat Perek Yodalet pasuk Chet, Chokhmat Arum Habin Darko ve'ivelet Kesilim Mirma." Okay, so this to me is referring to the barbarism of specialization. I associate what you said, Orma, Chokhmah Bagim Ta'amin, Orma, they have the cunning and the shrewdness to solve problems. And that's what a lot of scientific theory is about. How do you solve a particular problem? How do you calculate? How do you figure out where it's going to be? It starts here and it ends up there. So you solve problems. So Orma has to do with solving problem. And that's specialization. So Chokhmat Arum Habin Darko. All this Chokhmah of the Goyim, which is a very specialized Chokhmah, can accomplish is Habim Darko. They understand specifically that niche that they're studying, but they don't understand anything outside that niche.
What was it?
Chokhmat Arum Habim דרכו.
Yeah, continue.
ואיוולת כסילים מרמה. And this ends up leading to mirama. Because when a person's entire career is around one specific theory, right? And this has happened over and over again. What happens is, if something is wrong with that theory, or somebody comes up with a better theory, you will always and dogmatically defend that theory, because that's who you are, and that's what you're about. So there's a relationship between being extremely specialized, and you're committed to that idea, and trickery.
Now, let me say...
This is why the global warming advocates will never give it up, because their whole thesis and their whole funding and everything that they built will be destroyed if you say, oh wait, global warming wasn't caused by carbon dioxide, it was caused by natural cycles.
Now, let me explain something. It's something that we have it today, which is part of this. This person won the Nobel Prize in chemistry. Now he tells you, vote for Mr. X. 1 second. What does it do with this specialization of chemistry that you won the prize, the Nobel Prize, and כל הכבוד לך, תבוא עליך ברכה, with selecting the future president of America, or the future, I don't know, senator of Nebraska. That is the minimum.
Right.
Since I did this,
Yes.
how do you say this in Christian language? Since Jesus walked on water, nobody saw walk on water. Therefore, he must be that if he tells you this, you listen to him.
Right.
All right. And this point, the one who made this point very, very nicely, is in the second chapter. I think in the second chapter, and the other part of Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Albo in Sefer Haikalim.
Very interesting.
Yes. He said like this. So you show what's the relationship between this and that.
Right. Exactly.
Fine. So the guy was able to fly.
Yes.
Now you tell me for whom to vote.
Yes. Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
That is the paradox. Your mother. Hello, Heidi. Very good.